We are in a crisis. We all know this, right? We are in a crisis. Growth is not just kicking in. We are not seeing growth, globally speaking. Our profit and loss and balance sheets, the statements also aren't quite there where we wanted them to be. From a government, from a nation standpoint, we see that financial, social, and environmental challenges are common to all of us, to all of our governments, to all of our nations. And we all must look into new directions and solutions. Now let's talk about the private sector. The private sector has a key role in all of this. We are strong business people, aren't we? We're very strong business people, I'm sure. There's, several very strong business people in this room. And we have been trained, as a matter of fact, we have been brainwashed to turn threats into opportunities. We do that at least every year. We're obliged to do that exercise in our strategic planning, right? You look at your threats, and then you have to turn threats into opportunities. So it's time to leave the inconvenient truth scheme and mindset that we all know and turn it into the future we want, opportunities to drive sustainable innovation and solutions that will improve people's lives. That's what we are here for. So there has to be a game change, and the private sector is the driving force behind this game change. Let me talk a little bit about Brazil. Brazil hosts this conference in a much better shape than it did 20 years ago. The Rio 92 took place in a very young democracy after many, many years of military ruling and dictatorship, struggling with hyperinflation, corruption, and economic stagnation. But since then, as a matter of fact, since 1994, the country has managed to stabilize its currency, promoting a much better business environment to operate. In the economic front, Brazil has adopted the so-called the Golden Triad. So many, many years with primary budget surpluses, year in, year out, with very rigor and discipline in execution. Also adopted the exchange rate, the floating exchange rate, and targeted inflation rates also. So the Golden Triad has really worked for us with strong rigor in execution. I'll give you some numbers. In the last 20 years, the market cap of Brazilian companies grew more than 3,000%, actually surpassing Germany as we speak by a small margin. So 3,000% growth into the market cap of Brazilian companies. On the environmental front, the legally protected areas in Brazil increased more than 300%. Deforestation has been reduced by 77% between 2004 and 2010. On the social front, the country actually reduced poverty by an impressive 81%, has also drastically reduced child mortality rates, and stabilized the spread of HIV. Brazil is an example that emerging markets cannot be overlooked when seeking solutions to the world's dilemma. The World Business Council for Sustainable Development, with CEBEDS, Conselho Empresarial Brasileiro para o Desenvolvimento Sustentável, we have been present in Brazil since 1997. We are comprised of 74 companies that account for roughly 50% of Brazilian GDP. So a very powerful network that we have. And we need to explore much more this network. The World Business Council is present in more than 60 countries. So today, each one of us will bring many cases of success. We'll share those cases during the course of the day. We know that sharing, engaging is critical because we need speed and we need to build scale very quickly. Scale, I've been part of this meeting since the very beginning, and we keep hearing like scale, 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 and scale. So scale is the word of the day. Also collaboration, we heard a lot about innovation, of course. But let's talk a little bit about governments. During the Global Compact Conference, many UN officials voiced their frustration on conversations with country delegates. When pushing for transparency policies, they heard business doesn't want this. This makes our job here today even more important. We have to say loud and clear that business does not want a world that is not sustainable. As I mentioned, we are in a crisis, which is creating lots of uncertainty, and uncertainty generates conservatism and inertia. It's our challenge today to step out from the inertia and to be bold. The World Business Council, the Global Reporting Initiative, and CBADS, we have issued a statement supporting the report or explain paragraph to disseminate the sustainable KPIs, the numbers and the practice to really help to educate society. CBADS actually has gone a bit further, writing a letter to the local president, Dilma, asking for legally binding reporting requirements for Brazil. So, in a nutshell, we need to be bold and aggressive. We should really stop always blaming on governments. We need to take the challenges on our own hands. We've been trained to do that. We are very strong business people, and it's time to change the mindset and really turn the inconvenient truth into the great opportunities that we have through sustainable innovations to improve people's lives.